Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So today I want to talk to you about something that is on the top of a lot of people's minds. It's about finding courage to do something that's been on their mind, they want to do, but they're afraid. And that's downsizing. So downsizing actually strikes fear in the hearts of many people. And it was ironic that I ran into a client friend a couple of days ago, and we had helped them downsize from a very large home to a much smaller home several months before COVID. And when I ran into her, she said, "Oh my goodness, Rita, I had no idea how much easier my life is." And of course, who knew COVID was going to be happening and that it would, we would basically be sheltering in place for a year. But she said they're so grateful because during COVID, because they moved close to their children and grandchildren, they were able to spend so much time outside safely with their children and grandchildren. So anyway, so that was one side of the conversation. And she said, little did we know, that we would be fortunate because they have many friends, as we all do, that have not seen their children or their grandchildren in well over a year. So, but she said it wasn't just that. It's the fact that the small house is what is just so amazing to their lifestyle change. She said it's just small enough, it's just big enough, it's so much easier to maintain, and bottom line is that they are saving about 30% in expenses every month. So one of the other things that she said is when I think back on that downsizing journey, she remembers being afraid and very worried about leaving the big house, leaving the home that they raised their children in, the neighborhoods that they were so comfortable with, just everything that was familiar to them. But she said, I also remember feeling so concerned about getting rid of those things that were very meaningful to them. Probably they downsized by, I'm going to say 50%. So it did take some doing and some courage to get rid of a lot of their things. But she said also it was the stress and the overwhelm of having all of that stuff. She said they just don't have to deal with anymore. And the last thing she said is, as much as I hate to admit it, they were afraid to let go of the big house because they worked hard for it. They deserved it. And she said, frankly, it had become a symbol of their success. But when they let that go, when they had the courage to say, this isn't working for us anymore, and when they downsized, they're now benefiting by a much simpler life. And the other thing that she was saying is, having a big house, it was a never-ending project or repair or things that just had to be done. And they had so little time to do nothing or so little time to just go have some fun. So, but now that they've downsized, she said the biggest thing of all is that they now have freedom. And that means freedom to do what they want, when they want. And if you can imagine having a life like that, that's in many ways what downsizing does for you. And she said that she basically tells everyone that she knows how much easier her life is now. They're having more fun together as a couple, and certainly with their family and their new friends. So this is an example of how downsizing can change your life forever. In this case, it was exactly what they needed, but they were afraid. So if you are considering downsizing, and if you can relate to this conversation about being afraid, give me a call. I do offer a 30-minute complimentary call. Go to my website, Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. I would love to, just listen to you and then share some ideas about what might get you over the hump. So if you are thinking of downsizing, one thing I would strongly recommend is that you start talking to your friends, family who have already downsized. Ask them what is their life like, and how did they get through that certain hump, I guess, that you kind of have about should I stay or should I go, but what ultimately helped them take the plunge and downsize. So I can tell you from my own experience of downsizing from a very large home to my tiny little jewel box apartment, I have no regrets. And life is just so much simpler, higher quality of life, and also just a lot more fun. So if you need help downsizing, please reach out to me, Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. And also on our website, there is a free download called The ABCs of Downsizing. It was something I developed when I was downsizing myself. It's a way to make a large project simpler, easier, and also more fun. Take care.